Let's take a look at the final example. Remember, a good place to start on these is amplitude and period because we have not talked about phase shift yet. Amplitude here is 5. Very good. Some people say not applicable again because it was the last problem that was tangent, remember. Did it affect the graph, though, in the last one? Yes, it did. It just wasn't something we could measure. Now, period is an interesting one here. I think most of you got it right. Normal for sine is? I almost gave the answer there. Now, really, it's a 1/2 that's there, correct? Dividing by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by 2. Very good. So the period is 720. So 720 goes right there, meaning this 180 and 40. And I would probably go 5 and -5. And so you put in 0. I think you're probably getting better at this. You put 0 right there. 0 divided by 2 is 0. Sine at 0 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. So you put 180 in for theta. You divide it by 2. What do you get? 90. Sine at 90 then is really what you're asking for, which is right here. What's sine right there? 1, which you take times 5 is 5. What are you going to put in next? 360 divided by 2 is 180. Sine at 180 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. Probably no surprise where it's going to go for 540. Yeah, 540 because 540 divided by 2 is 270. Sine at 270 is -1 times 5, -5. Right back here. Does that graph look any different than the very first example we did other than the numbers that are underneath? Not a thing. And that's exactly why we do them this way. If you know what sine looks like, don't you figure that if you are only doing amplitude and period, that you should be able to get it on there pretty good, pretty quick, especially if it's sine. You know it starts at 0. And you should know that cosine starts up at whatever value is up there. Okay? So do you have any question on any of the examples that we've seen today? Once again, if I were to ask you to graph this one, say from 0 to 360, would it look drastically different? Big time, because really, if I'm asking you 0 to 360, that's all you're going to see? It's just, that's it. That's all you're going to see. Because how long is it actually going to, how much of the song did you hear? You only heard half of it in the normal 360 period. That's how you can use those numbers out front if you want. Okay.